Hey, what's up, Nerf Nation? It's Normatico here, and you know what? Today is Wednesday, February 21st, and I've got a new blaster of those things that I actually had this one ordered, and it came into the store today. I was able to go pick it up, and I actually was able to see them take it not only out of the case, but I saw that I was the first person to pick up the NERF Rival Challenger. Now, mind you, I am not the first person to actually pick it up because of the fact that there's already been a couple of reviews videos out about it. I want to go ahead and actually give a shout out to Apocalypse Junkies because of the fact that he did a pretty cool review video on it, and he did something that, you know, I try to do, and that is get the reviews out as quickly as the blaster comes out. But what can I say? I was late to the party. However, this time, we're going to unbox this blaster, and instead of running it on standard AA batteries, I am actually going to load it up with my 3.7 IMR batteries, and we're going to see how it performs. I can tell you that Apocalypse Junkie, he was actually chronographing it with an average of around 92 feet per second, so that's pretty decent with standard AA batteries for a rival blaster. I honestly think we can get more out of it. We're going to see what we can do, but let's talk blasters. So this rival blaster, it actually launched 2 days ago. So during President's Day, that is February 19th, 2024. This is a new blaster. Of course, a lot of stores, they didn't put them on the shelves until yesterday. The store that I was at, they didn't even take them out of the shipment case until this morning. So there we go. You can pick them up at Target. You can pick them up at Myers. I have not seen these go on sale on Amazon yet or anywhere else. So probably your best bet if you don't have a Myers is look for Target. You can order them online and get them shipped if you don't have one available right close by to you. So it does retail at $34.99. After taxes, I paid around $36 for this. More like $36.73 around that. But it is a motorized rival blaster, and I think that's an okay price. If you notice, this is a Stryfe. It is a rival Stryfe, no doubt about it. We are actually going to open up the internals here in this video, and I'm going to show you what I mean. Who knows? Depending on the performance I get with the IMRs, I might actually make this into a mod guide as well. We'll see what we do. I'm feeling kind of kooky today. So the blaster does come with 18 rounds. And it is the 18 AccuStrike rival rounds, so they are pretty accurate rival rounds, and they tend to fly, in my opinion, a little bit faster than the Edge series and the classic yellow rival rounds. So we'll see. I will tell you, because of the fact that it is a flywheel, be careful if you're going to use this, because headshot ammo, even though it's very popular in the hobby, it's hit or miss. It used to be really great, and if you have the original headshot rounds that came out, more power to you. But the ones that have been coming out recently, I'd be careful using them because you buy 110, and out of that 110, about 60 of them are as hard as rocks, and they will wreck a flywheel blaster. So be careful. So the blaster itself, it does come with 4 tactical rails. You have one here on top. I will tell you, it does feel a little bit flimsy, so be careful with that. Then you have one here, one on the bottom, and one on the back. Let me give a shout out to a classic Nerf reviewer, Coop, Frank. You'd be proud. They've got tactics. So that being said, I'm sure that this will fit with some of the rival tactical attachments. We are going to check it out because I have both the flashlight attachment and the actual sight, and we're going to test it to see how it is, how it works, and how it looks, because, yeah, that's what I do here. So that's pretty much it. Also, you do have a 12-round magazine. I will tell you that it does take 8, counting 5 plus 3, yes, 8, math is hard, 8 AA batteries, so 1.5 volts, so it can take 12 volts. I'll be honest with you, the switch, how long it can take that, I don't know. We'll have to see. Because of the amps, we might be able to keep a LiPo through this thing, maybe not. I don't know. I don't care. I'm probably going to convert it anyways in the future, and I'll just add my own switch to it. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and switch views and get to the unboxing. Okay, so first thing I noticed about this blaster is that it is surprisingly skinny for a rival blaster, which is not bad. The thickest part is here where the actual rival motors are, and yeah, it's smaller than even the Hera, so that's kind of neat. Let's go ahead and take this here. Of course, it is not plastic-free packaging, so I got my snips here. We'll make short work of this plastic and go from there. I will tell you that the presentation of this box, it's pretty neat. I like the black and orange coloring that they've chosen. It's very similar to the NERF Pro line colors. I can appreciate that. I wouldn't really call a rival a Pro line, but it's close enough. So I already took the tape off there. Unfold this. This blaster should come out here. Oh, do we have one more? Nope. We have our blaster. We have our rival banana round. That's kind of interesting. And then we have, ooh, it's not in fortune cookie paper. It's in an actual plastic wrapper. That's kind of neat. We have our 18 rounds, 3 rows of 6. That's cool. So I will tell you again, this blaster, it is pretty thin. You can see the profile of that. That's not bad. This rail, there's some give there, so be careful. That might break. That's a stress point right there. I don't know if I dig that, but we'll see. Huh. You do have a sling point attachment here, and this is labeled as a carabiner attachment point. So you have the safety on, off, and you have your mag release, which, you know what? I like it. I wish they would make them standard this size, especially on like a Stryfe. Hasbro, keep up the good work with this. This is something that the modding community usually does. They make longer than normal mag releases, and we will see how that feels on my hand shortly. Let's get rid of this plastic. Of course, the blaster itself does come with instructions. I'm sure it's buried somewhere inside the box. But anyone who's seen my videos knows that instructions, they're just quaint. In fact, they are buried at the very bottom fold of the box. So yeah, I already moved the box away. I'm not about to grab that. Loading the blaster up, of course. I'm not going to put the rounds inside this magazine yet. Just like that. Okay. And it slips out. Let's switch views so we can get a better look at this blaster. So this is the actual side profile of the blaster now that it's out of the box. Of course, this is the quote-unquote pretty side because it is painted. And when we flip it over, we see that we have a jam door right here. And we have our battery tray here with 2 screws that you have to unscrew in order to access the actual battery tray. It is AA's, so yeah, that's 8 batteries. This is going to be a small form LiPo that we have to fit in there until they release an elevated or extended battery cover. Modding community, you have your task set out for you. Extended battery tray so we can fit a large form LiPo in here, please. Thank you. I love you all. Now, of course, here is the big question. Can you actually use other magazines with this? Because, you know what? It's cool. I'm not the biggest fan of this banana magazine. Let's take a look at this other one here. This is an aftermarket, old school rival straight magazine. Oh, please fit in here. It does. I was just trying to put it in backwards. So, okay. Well, you know what? That'll work. That means that our pre-existing rival magazines will fit in here. Of course, I had it loaded, so hopefully there's not a rival round stuck in there. Nope, there is not. That is good because that could be dangerous. Now, let me actually go ahead and load up some batteries in this thing, and we're going to see what this puppy sounds like. Okay, so I am back, and I got the batteries loaded in here. We have 4 of my 3.7 volt batteries and 4 dummies. So you're looking at approximately 14 volts going through here. I will tell you that this is going to be interesting because, yeah, I want to see how this runs. like I said, Apocalypse Junkie, he was actually able to get around the 92 FPS using standard AA's. This takes 8 batteries, so we'll see, maybe. I don't know. Hopefully I don't fry out the switch. Of course, you know, I do have other switches I could put in here if I need to. I will tell you that no magazine you can rev. Check. Jam door open, no revving. So at least there's that safety in there. I'm glad because, of course, in the Elite 2.0 series, that is something that NERF scrimped on, and I'm glad that they didn't do this with the Rival series because it's dangerous to rev when you have the jam door open and the flywheels are exposed. In fact, when I tell you that the flywheel's exposed by that, there's the flywheel right there. You just know, and even though it's 14 and up, that there's going to be that one kid that if this did not have a safety mechanism on it, would try to rev with their finger in it. You know who that kid is. You might be the parent of that kid. You might have been that kid. I feel harshly judged by that comment. Anyways, so, yeah. It's loud, but is not as loud as some of the older Rival blasters. In fact, I have a Hera and a Zeus that I've put a LiPo in, and it's roughly the same voltage that this thing's getting through right now. And those motors sound like they're going to break. But they've lasted me for a while, so we'll see how this one will do if I do a LiPo conversion. Let's load up the magazine. Let's load up the rounds. And let's go to do the chronograph test. And now it is time for an indoor accuracy test. Of course, we are now about 30 feet away from the target area, which is that basket. If you've seen my videos before, you know how this works. If I can actually hit the basket, that is on target. If it is in between the posts, it's within variance. But if it hits the doors, obviously that is not accurate. We have the AccuStrike rounds. Usually with this particular series of the Rival blasters, the 2023 and the 24 series, and the 22, they've been pretty accurate, but this one does not have the same sight system as the other blasters did, such as the Vision, the Fate, and the Pilot, and the Forerunner. So I don't know. We'll have to test this out. You know, you do have an iron sight here, of course, because you have the little indentation there, and of course this little peg right here. But we'll see. I'll do my final thoughts, and I'll actually use the Rival sight at that point in time. So I shot 12 shots, and of course Pixie's trying to recover some of these Rival rounds. Hopefully she doesn't chew them up. I love my dog, I really do. But yeah, I would say that with the exception of maybe one, all of them hit the target. Of course, I'm going to tell you all when we actually see the pictograph after I have a chance to review the recording, how accurate this really was. Up next, we are actually going to see what the internals of this blaster looks like. Okay, so we are ready to open this blaster up. I have actually gone ahead and removed all the screws. Just want to show you one thing here. All the screws are pretty much standard size, except for this big honkin' bad boy right here. This is the one that actually goes right here to where the little swinging sling point attachment is, and it is a much longer screw because it has to fit through everything. Go down there and screw in through the other side. So that's pretty much it. All the screws are pretty much the same size. One thing I do want to point out though is that there is one little external clip right here. I'm going to see if we can actually remove this without having to unclip that. Let's see what we got. So, oh, looks like I missed a screw. Oh boy. Lesson learned, if it doesn't fall apart easily, it's probably because you missed a screw. So let's take this frame off. That comes off pretty easily. And is there any more hidden screws here? I do not see any hidden screws, so let's try to put. Oh, wow. Oh, okay. This thing just wants to open up. This is the easiest opening blaster I've ever seen. Okay, so here is an issue. Be careful when you open it up, because these wires are connected to the other side. Of course, the battery tray is on one side, and that's fine. I see here. Oh, that's different. Okay, so there is a gap there. I don't know what this spring is for. There's a spring here, and I don't even know what that's for. That's kind of interesting. I wonder what function that serves, because it's hidden in the shell. This doesn't look like it's doing anything. This piece, the only thing that hooks up here, no, that's not where it hooks up either. I wonder why that is there. Interesting. All right, well, I want to apologize for that quick little pause there. Unfortunately, Miss Normatico decided to call me while I was filming, so I had to answer that call. So yeah, I still cannot figure out what exactly that spring is for. Obviously, this piece goes back here. I mean, it's there. That's one thing. I will tell you, though, that I do see some good news. In spite of the flat bed here for the AA darts, there is enough space here. That should not interfere at all, which means that, and I should have one of my little small form lipos here. This is a 3S lipo. Nope, that one won't fit. That will fit in there just fine. And that should not interfere. Oh, well, that might drag, but that's going to be elevated in there, and that'll just drop in. I can mount it still to this little area so that only the bottom part of it drops down a little bit, and that should not interfere with the operation of this blaster. So, assuming that goes like that, assuming that goes like that, that might run. Well, if I can fit it in that way, that'll still hold. Yep. So this is able to be lipoed without a problem then. It's just going to require a little bit of shell cutting here. And yeah, so I'm not going to do this on camera right now, only because of the fact that I want to get this review video out. I actually might do another video showing how to do this. But if you are watching this and you are interested in doing a lipo conversion, all you have to do is rewire. You can actually direct wire to these motors because these motors will handle a 3S lipo. These are the standard rival motors. I've done Rival upgrades to LiPo without a problem. You don't need a MOSFET in this case because of the fact that these switches will be removed. So this one, of course, that's the safety that locks the the blaster from revving with the jam door. But if you're going to be modifying this, you should be smart enough to know not to stick your finger in there while your flywheels are moving. So you won't necessarily need that. And then, of course, this trigger, which is down here, it is mounted opposite of the actual rev trigger, which is right here. So I should say that switch. So that's kind of cool. This right here pushes up, which I guess allows for, I mean, okay, so that, I'll be honest with you, a little bit of putty, and all you need to do is remove this piece right here, mount your switch here with putty, make a little putty cradle. You could put a regular switch here, like so, one of these switches, an Omron switch, and push. And there's so much space in this handle. Hasbro, thank you. You've granted us a boon. And then from here, you just wire up all the way through here. You might need to glue the wiring, and then there you go. That is that. This is going to be a joy to wire. Yeah. Obviously, if you don't want to wait for my wiring guide, which, you know, I'll be honest with you, I'm not the greatest at making those guides and tutorials, but it's entertaining to see me mess up sometimes. That being said, that's how you would do it, and this is pretty simple. So you have the screws here for the actual flywheel cage. That would definitely need to be removed. You would need to remove this, which is actually the housing that holds the rival round. Oh, hello, Pixie. Okay, well, thanks to my interruption from Pixie, the Wonder Mutt, she was trying to save me from the evil package delivery person that was daring to knock on my door right as I was recording. Fantastic. She's a good dog. I guess that's the theme of this video. I love my dog. Anyways, so rewiring this should be pretty simple. Again, it's kind of like a Stryfe. I would dare say that this is a rival Stryfe. As G-Rex called it earlier, it's a Rife. Rife with something, I don't know. Now, I will tell you that looking at this on the internals, there's one thing I do not like, and Hasbro has taken to doing this with the Elite 2.0 series, and I guess they're taking this to the Rival series now. We have an actual spring here. We have a spring here. We have a mystery spring that I have no idea what the heck this thing is for, but anyways. And then we have this little piece right here. Let me see if I can sneak this out without breaking it. That right there. That's the negative for me. Instead of putting a spring there for the mag release, they put a piece of plastic that just bends. So I'm not saying planned obsolescence, but be prepared in the future that we might need to modify this because that will eventually break over time, only because plastic eventually will break down. It may take a while, but it's going to happen if it is used too much. So that's it. I'm going to go ahead and actually close up this blaster now, and I'm going to give you my final thoughts here in a moment. And I am back with my final thoughts regarding the Stryfe Challenger. This Stryfe Challenger, listen to me. The NERF Rival Challenger, it's a Stryfe. The Rife Challenger. Oh boy, I'm not even going to bother editing that out because it's the truth. So, you know what? When you have a good thing, if it's not broken, why fix it? The Stryfe is a fantastic blaster. It has been released so many times by NERF. Why not adapt it to be a rival blaster? And that is what they did here. Now, I'm going to tell you, I like this blaster, but there's a couple of glaring flaws with it. Let's start with the obvious one, okay? That right there. This is a rival rail. This is a rival attachment. It slides on, you tighten it, and it is very flimsy there. Like, super flimsy. So this plastic feels like it's going to break. If you actually grip this hard enough, you might actually break that, and that's not a good thing. So again, that's not a big fan of that. Up here, of course, you run into the same issue. That is tightened on there. That's weak. You know, it does technically fit, I guess, but it's not really tight. And that's going to be a problem when you're running and that thing's sliding around like this. You know, it's not going to fall off. I barely loosened it. It's still good. I'd be upset if this one broke because this is like $26. Anyways, so those are the flaws on that blaster. Plus, of course, you have the plastic spring that they did for the mag release. Not a big fan of that either. I'll be honest with you, the main gimmick of this blaster with the actual banana style magazine, it's all right. It works. It holds 12 rounds. I think if you try to push it, you could probably cram 13 in there, but you know, it works. So other than that, it's a pretty cool blaster. I just actually tried to chronograph using 5 IMRs instead of the 4, and I actually noticed that there's an FPS drop, so the resistors do work. It actually cuts the power to the motors a little bit, which means that modding this is going to be a necessity to me, because if I'm not hitting 120 with a high-powered blaster, I'm not happy necessarily. That being said, it's easy to modify. You saw the internals. It's a Stryfe. The battery tray, I thought it was going to be a problem, but if you actually have one of these small tattoo lipos, this is a 3S lipo. They retail for around $14 on Amazon. This one's actually a 450 amp. Go ahead. You do it. You just have to actually cut out the battery tray. It is a little square spot where you saw that this will fit in just right. It is just the right size to fit so that it does not actually interfere with the dart pushing, I should say, the round pushing mechanism. So you have that. I will actually probably be doing a lipo modification guide on this blaster here soon. So go ahead and actually stay tuned, and you will see that video if you are interested. Again, you know, it's not a bad blaster. The flaws aside, I actually enjoy it. Because of the fact that, you know, it is a good sized blaster for a rival blaster. It is super skinny in the profile. It just jolts out here because of the size of the motors. So, yeah. This is actually a great replacement for someone who has a Hera, or if they have a Zeus and they want a motorized blaster that launches around the same kind of rounds. You know what? Go ahead. Pick this one up. That way you can retire your trusty Hera. You can retire your... English is hard. You can retire your trusty Zeus and go from there, or even the original Charger. So that works. That being said, I want to thank you all for watching Secondhand Blasters. Until next time, keep on blasting. Hey, quick side note before y'all blast me in the comments, pun intended. So I figured out what that spring was for, and that is because this is the thing, the carbinger attachment. That's what that spring does. Okay. Huh. Interesting. Another thing I want to point out to y'all. Doesn't fit a regular end strike barrel attachment. Already tried it. This is much bigger. Hopefully that means that we're going to actually see some barrel attachments for rival blasters soon.